The majority of the movies with a storyline about gangs can only show about 1% of what truly some of the most ruthless gangs are capable of doing. They're devoid of emotions and have all the violent means that could help them maximize their profits. And by violent means, we're talking about committing crimes that are synonymous with humans to get what they want. So today, we're going to look at the 8 most terrifying gangs in the world. Number 8. The Aryan Brotherhood. A gang whose start was at the San Quentin prison of California, the Aryan Brotherhood is a white-only neo-Nazi prison gang that was formed back in the 1960s. At the time of its formation, their only purpose was to protect white gang members from getting attacked or assaulted by other inmates in the prison. However, they soon lost sight of their purpose and became one of the most notorious gangs in the United States that's associated with murder for hire, extortion, theft, robbery, gambling, and narcotics trafficking. With an estimated number of 15,000 to 20,000 members both in and out of prison, joining the Aryan Brotherhood is no easy sailing, and American criminal and cult leader Charles Manson and his family are one of the many people who tried to join the Brotherhood and failed. You might be wondering, how can someone as evil as Manson fail to join the gang? And, well, it was because they found the cult leader too leftist, while some of the members found it distasteful that he was associated with the murder of the pregnant actress Sharon Tate. Number 7. Tambovskaya-Malyshev Kaya. The Tambovskaya-Malyshev Kaya gang, also known as the Tambov gang, is a large Russian gang originating from St. Petersburg in 1988 by 2 men. A year after the establishment of the gang, Vladimir Kumarin, as well as Valery Ledovshik, were involved in a bloody conflict with Malyshev's gang, another gang originating from St. Petersburg. Later on, Kumarin allied with Malyshev, who used to be the controlling force of the narcotics trade. In addition, the Tambov gang is involved with a myriad of activities that includes contract killing, bootlegging, money laundering, robbery, extortion, and loan sharking. Number 6. The Numbers Gang. With a history that can be traced back to the 1800s, the Numbers Gang is considered to be one of the oldest gangs in South Africa and the entire world. It's said that it all started when a man named Poe saw the inhumane way black workers would get treated at their mining jobs. So when he saw 2 migrant workers, called Nongoloza and Engelekashane, looking to work at a mine, he showed them a completely different way to make money. He taught them the life of crime and recruited even more young men. They would change their habits regularly to avoid getting caught, and they carved their activities and rules on a rock to mark them. Poe also ordered them to take a hide from a bull they had slaughtered and press it on the rock until the words from the rock are imprinted onto the hide. Now, they had 2 copies of the rules that they must follow. One day, as they were carrying the heavy rock, it was dropped down a hill due to its weight, and it broke into 2 pieces, with one of which falling into the river to be lost forever. Now, Engelekashane, who was supposed to have the rock, only had half of the rules, while Nongoloza had the hide with all the rules. During an expedition, Nongoloza decided to stay behind, and it was later found that he engaged in a homosexual act with a member of his gang. One of the gang members was enraged at this, and Nongoloza reasoned with him, stating that among the rules that were written on the hide was that sex between the bandits was allowed, something that Engelekashane didn't agree on. This later became a pivotal disagreement that remains to this day. After Poe's death, the 2 of them decided to go their separate ways. One took 8 men with him, while the other 7. It's said that this is how the origins of 27 and 28 originated. The 2 stands for 2 each of the leaders, while the 7 and 8 symbolizes the number of men they took with them. Today, the Numbers Gang is split into 3 numbers. The 26s are responsible to accumulate wealth for all the members. They have a specific and structured hierarchy that they follow. As for the 27s, they're the secretive division out of the 3, and they're responsible for enforcing the gang rules. The 28s are the ones that get their hands dirty. They're split into the Gold Line and the Silver Line, and they're responsible for protecting the three gangs. Number 5. Shower Posse. Saying that the Jamaican gang Shower Posse is a violent gang would be the understatement of the century. The gang earned their nickname from being known to shower their victims with bullets from machine guns with no mercy. While the gang originated from Tivoli Garden, Jamaica, it currently operates in a plethora of different cities in the United States like New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, and New Jersey, as well as in many Canadian provinces. Number 4. Cosa Nostra. While you might not recognize this Sicilian gang by their name Cosa Nostra, translated to our thing in Sicilian language, I think the name Mafia might ring a bell or two. The origin of the Cosa Nostra is a bit shrouded in secrecy and is very hard to trace since they don't like to keep a historical record for themselves. And, as if that wasn't enough, they also spread lies on purpose to mislead people, so there are parts of their history that aren't exactly known. It's believed that the first Sicilian mafia to fly out of the United States from the island was called Giuseppe Esposito, after he and 6 other Sicilians brutally killed the Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor, and 6 wealthy figures in the Sicilian province. Later on in 1890, they committed the first major crime by murdering the New Orleans Superintendent David Hennessy in cold-blooded execution style. However, it wasn't until the mid-1900s that the United States finally recognized that there is a criminal gang operating in the country, describing them as sinister. Number 3. Los Zetas. Ranked as Mexico's second most powerful drug cartel, the Mexican criminal syndicate Los Zetas is a force to be reckoned with. Members of the syndicate are some of the most violent, ruthless, and downright animalistic. It's safe to say that just hearing about some of the crimes that they've committed, which include beheading, torture, indiscriminate murder, will send chills down your spine. And if you've never heard of them, well, we'll give you an idea. In 2010, the Mexican military found close to 72 bodies of undocumented immigrants who were brutally killed in the San Fernando massacre. The Los Zetas' reasoning for killing them? Reportedly, they feared that the immigrants were going to join a rival gang, the Gulf Cartel, so they massacred them in cold blood. Sadly, just a year after the first incident, the second San Fernando massacre took place, where the Los Zetas stopped several buses that were headed towards the border, kidnapped many of the passengers, before executing 193 people for the same reason as the 2010 massacre. La Galeria Ranch, or the Death Camp as some people call it, is a ranch where the Los Zetas have committed some of the most heinous crimes that you'll hear about. The ranch used to house an outdoor brick oven that has since turned into a tool to kill the victims. Not only do they simply incinerate their victims, but they also torture them mercilessly beforehand, something that became known because the walls are stained with their victims' blood. Number 2. Sinaloa Cartel. Rivals of the Los Zetas, the Sinaloa Cartel is an organized crime syndicate that was formed in Mexico in the 1980s. It's believed that they're one of the most powerful organizations on this earth in the 2000s and 2010s and remain the most active drug cartel that's involved in smuggling drugs. The origin of the Sinaloa Cartel dates back to when the Guadalajara was broken into several groups after the United States and Mexican forces cracked down on them. One of these groups became the Sinaloa Cartel. Joaquin Guzman Loera, who some would recognize by the nickname El Chapo, became the leader of the Sinaloa Cartel alongside Hector Luis Palma Salazar. In case you didn't know, El Chapo was listed as one of the most powerful people in the world by Forbes, and he was able to escape from a secure prison not once, but twice on different occasions. The Sinaloa Cartel still remains a powerful gang in the world of drug trafficking, as opposed to other gangs and organizations that have expanded into human trafficking. However, that doesn't make them any less violent. In fact, they're known to record the brutal murders of their victims and boast about them by uploading them online. Number 1. Mara Salvatrucha. When it comes to the world's most violent gangs, there's no doubt that the Mara Salvatrucha would be ranked at the top of any list involving gangs. The California-based gang was created in the 1970s and 1980s, and their initial plan was to protect Salvadoran immigrants from other gangs. As time went on, they became more of a traditional criminal organization and did more than just protecting immigrants. The most dangerous fact about the Mara Salvatrucha is that they're willing to go as far as killing women and children without giving it a second thought. In 2004, in one of the most publicized crimes for the Mara Salvatrucha, they shot and killed 28 passengers that were on an intercity bus with automatic assault rifles. Most of the people who died that day were women and children. Their list of crimes is practically never-ending. They're involved with all sorts of crimes, from extortion, kidnapping, robbery, prostitution, to human trafficking and contract killings. And that's all the terrifying gangs in the world that we have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And before you go, if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to Weeklypedia and click that notification bell to be alerted whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.